Laughing at Trump. Hello, everybody. David Shuster here. On the heels of Donald Trump caving on his tariff threats, Canadian leaders are now taunting him. Our friends at the Midas Touch recently spoke with Canadian Member of Parliament Charlie Angus, who noted that Canadians were ready for the fight.
Right now, Canada's feeling we were just set to go over the boards, and Donald Trump choked. So we're really glad that we're not going into a trade war, but we're also feeling this was a moment to take this guy on. He blinked. He choked.
Angus has been one of the most outspoken Canadian lawmakers blasting Trump. In another interview, he ridiculed Trump's threatening style.
This isn't gunboat diplomacy. This is really, like Al Capone in his syphilitic period trying to do a shakedown.
Yes, he compared Trump to Al Capone when the unhinged gangster had syphilis. In a speech the week before, Angus delivered this.
The threat comes, of course, from the President of the United States, a convicted felon and known predator.
The pointed and direct descriptions of Trump have thrilled Canadians, but our neighbors to the north have also been pleased by the diplomatic and subtle barbs at Trump from Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Trudeau recently spoke about Canadian unity.
We've collectively shown that when Canada's interests are in danger, our political identity no longer matters. There is only one team, and that is Team Canada. So as we move forward into the Year of the Snake...
Yep, Prime Minister Trudeau gave a special emphasis to Year of the Snake. Now, to be fair, he was speaking at a Lunar New Year celebration, so the Prime Minister has some diplomatic cover. Still, Trudeau's chuckle was unmistakable.
So as we move forward into the Year of the Snake, let us commit to fully embracing the values that the Lunar New Year represents. Let us resolve to remain resilient and united. Let us commit to working towards a better, brighter future.
The future is certainly better for Canada and Mexico with U.S. tariffs on pause, and America's allies only had to agree to do what they promised the Biden administration last year. For Canada, that means continuing to implement the $1.3 billion border security enhancements Prime Minister Trudeau announced in December. Mexico promised Trump to surge 10,000 troops near its border with the United States, which is fewer than the 15,000 troops they pledged to the Biden administration a few months earlier. Still, it's not just leaders in Canada and Mexico that are laughing at Trump. The people of Greenland are ridiculing the Trump administration as well. President Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance have repeatedly spoken about the United States taking control of the Arctic island, extracting its minerals, and profiting from the Greenland transit routes.
There are sea lanes there that the Chinese use, that the Russians use, that frankly, Denmark, which controls Greenland, it's not doing its job and it's not being a good ally.
Vance insisted the people of Greenland would be thrilled to be part of the United States.
You've got probably 55,000 people living on Greenland who are not actually happy with Danish government.
But as The Guardian reports, new opinion poll shows 85% of Greenlanders do not want to join U.S. Despite Donald Trump claiming the island's population want to be with us, Greenlanders overwhelmingly rejected the idea. Newsmax reporting the survey conducted by the UK-based research agency Varian on behalf of the Danish newspaper Berlingske and Greenland Sermitske newspaper shows that less than 1 in 10 citizens of the territory want to leave Denmark for the United States. At the same time, more than 4 in 5 rejected the idea. Not to be outdone, residents of Panama are also piling on the Trump administration these days. Recently, the Trump administration's State Department wrote on X, U.S. government vessels can now transit the Panama Canal without charge fees, saving the U.S. government millions of dollars a year. The problem is that Panama did not agree to any such thing. The Trump State Department was lying. In a news conference, Panamanian President Raul Mulino publicly criticized the Trump administration for an intolerable falsehood. The incident blew up negotiations with Panama in the midst of Secretary of State Marco Rubio's trip to the region. In a cleanup effort, Rubio acknowledged the truth and noted that while he hopes Panama will agree to new terms for the Panama Canal, Panama has their own system for doing that.
I respect very much that Panama has a process. They're a democratically elected government. They have rules, they have laws. They're going to follow their process.
By the way, this was Rubio's first overseas trip as Secretary of State. On his very first trip, the Trump administration undercut him either deliberately or inadvertently and caused a diplomatic uproar. And so, add Panamanians to the list of people who are hammering the Trump administration or calling the Trump team idiotic. I suppose it's still possible President Trump will send troops to Panama to take over the canal by military force. Of course, that would be against international law and would likely get some American soldiers killed. And it would also go against Donald Trump's pledge not to start any wars. In any case, so it goes. The Trump instability is already leaving quite an impression around the globe, especially in Central America, Greenland, and Canada. And as the Trump lies and losses pile up, the ridicule is mounting.
A convicted felon and known predator. He's threatening massive tariffs to try and break us as a people. But the threat is also being driven by the hate algorithms of the oligarchs like Elon Musk. And there is the threat from people in our own country who would sell out our birthright to appease the gangster class from Mar-a-Lago. That is not going to happen.
What I'd like to see, Canada become our 51st state. We give them protection, military protection. We don't need that. They love to see that, but some people say that would be a long shot. If people wanted to play the game right, it would be 100% certain that they'd become a state.
Hey, Donald, have we got a deal for you? You think we want to be the 51st state? Nah, but maybe California would like to be the 11th province. How about it? California, Oregon, Washington? You've got geography in common with us. And not only that, we've already got a carbon trading system between California and Quebec. We've got some strong alliances on our west coast from British Columbia. There's been a lot of academic papers on the idea of Cascadia.
By the way, President Trump and his team recently got slammed in epic fashion by House Democrat Jasmine Crockett of Texas.
This is very simple. We right now have a white supremacist that is sitting in the White House. He is backed up by other white supremacists. And if you really want to know who the criminals are in this country, you can Google it. You don't have to trust me. But the people that commit 80% of the most violent crimes in this country are white supremacists. Yet for whatever reason, they sit and they serve at the pleasure of the president. They are the ones that were there on January 6th, tearing our democracy down physically. And now we have them tearing us down right here from within.
Check out that video at the link below. It generated a lot of comments on YouTube. One of the most popular is from Gilmore, who wrote, Jasmine Crockett is smart, brave, and fearless. She's doing what we the people sent her to Congress to do. I hear you. I look forward to reading your comments about people in Canada, Greenland, and Panama trashing Trump as his chaos continues. I'm David Shuster. Thanks for joining us.